If you look at this entire process, we start reacting, we organize, we focus, and then eventually we get to the stage of quiet. And this is a natural progression that we all go to. There's forces that move us both directions. Some move us forward, some pull us back. And that arrow is probably actually a little bit more like that. It's a backward slope. So what happens? These forces are both internal and external. Within ourselves, we might lose confidence after a very poor performance on an exam, bombing an exam last week. Within ourselves, we might skip that daily gym routine for like the last 21 days. Outside of ourselves in the environment, in the middle of the semester, say, we may have something come from our environment, like a text at 1 a.m. offering really cheap tickets to the 2:30 showing of the Hunger Games. Might not be a good idea if you have a midterm the next day. We might also get from our environment a text saying that there's a really sick DJ at the Irish tonight. Probably not a good idea, right? This is noise from our environment. So, here's some examples, and these are direct quotes. This is the only part of the whole presentation where we're taking actually things that the students did. And with Liz, she talked about her financial situation. We sent each one of you a survey, and we picked a few select one of these. And Liz said, with this economy crumbling, which we're feeling all kinds of ways here in our community and here at UTB, that her financial situation, like many of our students, was an obstacle. And she grew up in a single-parent home, and she felt that she needed to take those expenses onto her own back. Katerina had an interesting problem as well, an interesting bit of noise to deal with. She not only had to learn Spanish here, she had to learn English as well, coming from Germany. So now let's look at what pushes us forward. What is the energy that continues to move us up that slope rather than back? And again, we're talking about things from the inside and the outside. From the inside, it's that push in the morning at 3 a.m. to get that final paragraph absolutely perfect. It's having the fortitude to put your phone on airplane mode on a Friday night to get the final touch on the final chord of that piece you've been working on. But outside is even more critical. And in this community, it's highly critical, and it's been highly, highly effective because we have a very special thing in this community. And those outside forces that are acting on us is a professor that listens. It's a professor that really listens. It's an inspiring campus full of world-class Iberian architecture and resacas. In our environment, we have a community that comes together to celebrate our culture at Sombrero Fest. And then many students said this last thing. They said, my family has made a very conscious effort, a very concerted decision to sacrifice some of the things they wanted in their life so that I could graduate with a 3.8 GPA. We saw that over and over again in these surveys. So these are forces acting in the right direction in our environment. So again, we can pull from some of these student surveys. Liz worked 2 jobs to make sure her mother, and this is a quote, did not pay 1 dime of her education. We also mentioned Dr. Madrano, who inspired her to seek wisdom from within. So this is a feedback mechanism of these external forces we're talking about along with the internal. Lisa said her parents and their unconditional love and her husband for standing by her side have really contributed more than anything else to her making it to be in this very room. So now what? We've got Lionel. He's a big guy on campus. He's a violinist. He's playing over in the Arts Center. Where does he go now? He's mastered all of this, right? And the answer is, well, unfortunately, he's got to go back. It's like the Texas two-step, right? It's 2 steps back, take 1 forward. And in this case, when he's going back is not here, not while he's on this campus. He may go and say, get a master's in music at the University of Texas at Austin. And if he did that, he's going to loop all the way back here and be thrown into all this noise. So what does he do? He looks forward. He looks forward to these individuals up here that are about to complete their masters, to their professors, to outside mentors, and also relies on that fuel from the community, his family again making the decision for him to go to Austin and spend a couple years to become a world-class musician. So there's one last thing to this. The play's over, right? All 4 acts are done. So now I want to talk a little bit about coming attractions. What's next? And what's next is in this box. And so I don't want all of you to get completely depressed now, because this is actually a very good thing. Within this box is this white space. We took this noise and we continuously compressed it and shaped it and put it in a smaller box. And there's more white space left over. And what is this white space? Well, I've thought about this for a few years while I've been sort of thinking about this general model. And the answer is, this is the last time you'll ever hear a professor say this, I don't know. The only way I can describe that space is by giving you a few examples, a few glimpses into the future, if you will. From this space, time stops for a moment. And from this space, there's a leap, not going to leap because I can't do it that well, a precise hand placement that blocks a kill that wins the Olympic championship for Germany. Now, I'm hoping you play for the US, but if that happens, it's fine. From this space, an MBA student has a hunch that leads to a device that replaces the iPhone. From this space, a principal in Harlingen comes up with a brilliant idea to start a high school for first-generation college students only, where 100% of those students get placed into a college. And from this space comes an inspiration that will put a kid from Mercedes in this community, first chair at the London Symphony Orchestra. So, aspects of this space we talked about. They're included in the noise as well. It's from within us, right? It's coming from our community, our family, our campus, our professors. But really, this space is not actually any of one of those things. This space is something that lies in between all of this. It lies between all of those things. And it's here in the room right now. So, thank you.